Hello everyone, and welcome back to our course on modern web development. As you already know, deploying your Next.js application is a very critical and important step in the development process. Vercel, the company behind Next.js, offers a seamless deployment platform optimized for Next.js applications specifically. This lesson will guide you through deploying your application to Vercel, setting up continuous deployment with GitHub, and following best practices for environment variables and secrets management. Today we're going to cover and understand what Vercel is and its benefits for Next.js applications, set up a continuous deployment by connecting your GitHub repository to Vercel, learn deployment best practices including environment variables and secrets management, and we're going to finally deploy your test Next.js application confidently and securely. We're going to start off with an introduction to Vercel. Vercel is a cloud platform for static websites and serverless functions that enables developers to host websites and web applications that deploy instantly, scale automatically, and require no supervision, all with minimal configuration. So some of Vercel's features and benefits include it is optimized for Next.js, so it offers first-class support for Next.js applications, including features like incremental static regeneration and edge functions. Serverless functions, so deploying API routes as serverless functions. Also, you could deploy code globally for ultra-low latency. It also has automatic scaling, so scales your application automatically based on traffic, and it is very good for small startups, websites, and static websites. But as your website's starting to grow and you have a very large user base, it's gonna cost some money. So just be aware of that. That as you scale, you might want to switch to another hosting platform like AWS. And also, it integrates with GitHub, which is one of the best features out on Vercel, and also Bitbucket for seamless deployments. So we're going to cover that in just a second. And some of the benefits include, of course, it's very easy to use. So simple deployment process tailored for modern web frameworks and applications, such as Next.js, React, and other frameworks. Also, it has global CDN, so content is served from the nearest edge location to the user. So as a user, you can choose your location, whether it's Frankfurt or somewhere in Asia. Also, it is collaborative, so team features allow for collaboration and preview deployments. You could create a team within the Vercel and host your projects there and collaborate with your team, monitor your user base, traffic, and other features that included in the team plan. Also, it is very secure, so HTTPS by default with automatic SSL certificates, and you could instantly buy a domain there, which I believe only costs from $15 to $20. So it's a great option to host your entire project. And now we're going to connect to the GitHub. So integrating Vercel with GitHub allows for continuous deployment, where every push to your repo triggers a new deployment. Yeah, that's why it's very easy to deploy to Vercel. So once you just push your updates to GitHub, they're synced with Vercel and they will be instantly deployed to production. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a GitHub repo. So if you haven't already, create a GitHub repository for your Next.js project and push your local Next.js project to the GitHub repository. Before the lesson, I already created a simple GitHub repo and named it Cool AI App. And now what we're going to do is just simply push all our files, changes, updates in this repository. So first initialize it, then add all of your files, then commit everything. First commit, and simply push everything to the main. And now if we update it here, we should see all of our files. Nice. And let's go back to our lesson. And after we created a GitHub repository and pushed all of our local files of our Next.js project to the GitHub repo, we're gonna create a Vercel account, and I already have one here and already set everything up. So basically, what you have to do is just sign up, follow the setup wizard, and you're all set. And after that, we're gonna import our project. So click on the new project button, select import git repository, choose your GitHub account and select the repository you want to deploy. Okay, let's go back to Vercel, and yeah, here we see the button import a project. So if you have 0 projects, you would have to click on this button, and then it's gonna sync it with your GitHub, and as you can see, we have our cool AI app, which we created approximately 55 seconds ago, and it has real-time tracking, and which is basically imported here. And so yeah, it also automatically detects our framework. As you can see, it is Next.js. It detects our project name, and also you would wanna add all of your environment variables here. So I'm just gonna add them right now and come back. I imported my environment variables in this section, and once again you would just go back to your project, copy them and paste them here, and then they will be automatically detected. Now we can finally deploy our project by clicking on this button, and once we clicked, it will start configuring and queue the deployment. Congratulations, and we finally deployed our Next.js application. And once the deployment is complete, you will receive a unique URL for your application, and we can click here and we will visit our website, which is finally on the web. And Vercel also provides like a Vercel toolbar that you can interact with, but we're not gonna do that now. And yeah, let's log in and test our application and how it behaves on the web. So I'm just gonna sign into our Clerk account, and as you can see, it has our AI text generator, and let's say hello, ask it something, and it will generate text. Everything works perfectly, and we deployed our first application. Just want to quickly go over some deployment best practices. So deploying your application securely involves proper management, and just be aware that adding environment variables, be careful with that. So it has 3 options when adding: for development, for preview, and for production. And properly manage your environment variables, and once again, do not commit .env.local to version control, add it to your gitignore file. And okay, here is just a quick guide how to deploy your Next.js application, and that's basically it. And for your exercise, I would love you to deploy your application to Vercel. If you haven't already deployed your Next.js application to Vercel, verify that application is live and functioning as expected, set up some environment variables, add environment variables in Vercel, like OpenAI API key and Clerk API keys. Use this variable in your application code and ensure that it works correctly in production. Implement secrets management, so identify any sensitive information in your code, move it to environment variables, and manage your security properly. And after that, just test continuous deployment, make a change in your code base, like update a component, push the changes to GitHub, and verify that Vercel automatically deploys a new version. And you could also add a custom domain for your website. If you have a custom domain, add it to your Vercel projects, and then you could watch a guide on YouTube how to set up Vercel domains. It involves updating some DNS routes and settings as required, and then you can access your application via the custom domain. And I also provided some additional resources here, such as Vercel documentation and Next.js documentation for deployment. And great job today, guys. Deploying your Next.js application doesn't have to be a complex process, and Vercel provides a powerful platform tailored for Next.js, offering a seamless deployment, continuous integration, and scalability. By integrating with GitHub, you can streamline your development workflow and focus on building features rather than managing deployments, and ship your product faster. And once again, remember to use environment variables for configuration and secrets, avoid hard coding sensitive information, and monitor your deployments and utilize Vercel's tools for optimal performance. And thank you for your participation. See you in the next lesson, and happy hacking!